Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day, and with that being said, let's dive into the TA. Guys, exciting stuff, and honestly, if you're not excited, I'm going to tell you, you should be excited. This is easy money mode. This is just, that's kind of how I'm looking at this. It's not that hard. What we're seeing, it's clear as day. The market is probably about to go on a ripper rally. Okay, we're about to rip some faces. Maybe go a little lower in the short term, but I'm telling you for a fact, if you are a swing trader, this is the opportunity you're waiting for. This is what you wanted, and it's here. Did we think it was coming? No. Did it come? Yeah. And now we're going to take advantage of it. So let's talk about it. All right. So I'm just going to say the first thing. I'm not going to say much in this video that I didn't already say yesterday. I think downside is limited. So what if you go down for, another trading session or so? The next day, you're probably going to start popping up. This is the NASDAQ McClellan oscillator over here. And guess what? Guess what? You started hinging back up. This is 2 years of data here at this point. And every time you got down to the spot you're down at right now, and you started hinging up, you didn't look back. You started actually just seeing your rally start. And I'm going to say this time is probably not going to be different. All right. So, that's like really what I wanted to, point out here is we're at some key spots as that thing starts hinging back up here. You got VIX looking like this over here. Okay. I understand, maybe it looks scary. But guys, when volatility spikes, that is when your opportunity arises every single time. Okay? You could have shorted VIX, or I'm not going to say, if you shorted over here, okay, you got a little green on your position and then it skyrocketed on you. You could have started buying the market. Any one of these times you saw VIX spike up to here, okay? You spike up into overbought territory. Anytime you could have bought the market and you would have made a lot of money. Okay. You know why? Because our bottoms come when VIX spikes. That's as easy as it gets. Pair that with what I just showed you over here. The thing is legit starting to hinge up. I also just showed you. I mean, I don't have to say much about it. You can read this chart just for yourself. Okay. Every time this thing turns up, starts hinging up like that, you legit see your bottom on the market. Okay? That is that. It does not turn back. You start literally developing that bottom. Can we dance around here for a few days? Yes, we can. All right? Do I think it's likely? Not really. Okay? But, one of two things is going to happen here, guys. We're going to do a little bit of this and then go up. Or you just go a little bit lower. You smack 583.32 and then you go up. All right. There's one of two things is going to happen here. And you're not going to fall off a cliff. Anybody who is looking at this and not, just mouth watering for longs, I don't know what to tell you. I think there's a lot of money to be made over here. And I personally would like to participate in that money making opportunity. And I think you should too. I'll point out some of the tickers that I like on this dip over here. But I'm just going to say S&P 500, the daily RSI, is almost down to oversold. Every time you've hit oversold for a very long time, you've developed your bottom. Give it some time. You shouldn't be trading, weekly expirations. You shouldn't even be trading next week's expiration. If you are really in this game and you're playing with size, then you are most likely going to be swing trading and you're going to be using 1 to 2 months out at a minimum. That is the recommendation here. No financial advice will be given on this channel, but as long as you have time or you're playing with shares and you have, a decent time horizon for the trade to play out, like this is a great opportunity. I don't know why people are panicking, but the fact that we have the fear and greed index already back into extreme fear territory. All right, I'm not going to show it right now because I don't have it pulled up, but it was at 23 today. Guys, that was at extreme greed when we were up here. What are we talking about here? You got to extreme so quick that it's like kind of crazy for anybody to think this thing's just going to keep falling off a cliff. And can it? Yeah. Can Henry Boy be wrong? Yeah, I can. But I just showed you, things, and I showed you things in yesterday's video after we, got this massive freaking move down over here. Okay. That suggests the downside is limited at this point, and there's no point in, fear mongering. There's no point in, becoming all fearful and buying into the hype of the downside. There's not. Okay. There's not. You are retesting a key break and retest zone right here. Your breakout zone. You already found buyers here once. Probably about to find buyers there again. You come over to QQQ. Where are we retesting? Previous structure. Is it the worst look in the world? No, dude. Give us 511.45. We're going to have a good time. Give us 511.45 and we're going to have a good time. You have the 0.618 fib right over here. That is what we watch here on this channel. You also have a key, breakout zone right here. Not zone, breakout level right here. But if you want to turn that into zone, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. Does this really look so bad to you? No. I'll answer for you. No. No, it does not. Is this really something you want to be, shorting into and not longing? Like your life depends on it? No. Okay? You don't want to be shorting into this thing. You really don't. You want to be, taking profits on your shorts if you somehow managed to nail that move. If you did, that's fine. I'm still going to say, anybody who says, oh, I saw this one coming, I think you are 100% just speaking in hindsight here. I don't think you could have seen it coming, because if you really were to take, complete action off of this, and you're not just someone who's a short-term trader, but if you were fully saying that you're going to be expecting this massive move down, yeah, I'm going to say you were gambling. I'm going to say there was no way we saw that one coming. Okay? It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Okay? But now, the time has come for this bad boy to be bought up. And that is that. So that's why I said nothing really changed since yesterday's video. I pointed out, some key points around my thesis on why this is probably just going to turn into a major buying opportunity. If you give it a few trading sessions, you're probably going to be having a really good time. You're going to be in a really good spot if you were long and down here, okay? So let's talk about some levels. On SPY, we have 583.32 to 586.12. 583.32 is right where we have the 0.61 Fibonacci retracement right there from this move all the way up to there. Okay, so the whole most recent rally here, we can see it on the weekly time frame. Okay, there was that. You are retracing that move right now. Okay, you expect buyers between 576.70 and 583.60. On the upside, 591.04, 593, get above 593, straight shot up to 597.28. From there, we're going to have to see what happens. I don't think the bottom is in just yet. I think we're probably going to be coming down here. I don't think it makes sense to not come down here at this point. You got QQQ right above its 0.618 fib over here as well. Okay. So I think you are probably going to be seeing more downside. Now let's talk about QQQ. On the downside, 511.45 aligns right with that 0.618 Fibonacci retracement right there. You have 515.58 down to 511.45. That is your breakout zone that we're going to be paying attention to. And on the weekly time frame, you got the weekly 9 sitting right here around that 511.45 spot. That is where the confluence is right now. Okay. Now, clearly the market still wants to be sold, but I'm going to point out you had a crap ton of volume today alongside yesterday, and you didn't really move too much further down. That is waning. Okay. The downward momentum here that we saw all in one go in 2 freaking hours. See it right here. Okay. It's waning. I do think we are probably, going to be coming a little bit lower like this. And then you see something like that. Okay? I do not think it's a reason to panic. I think because of what I showed you at the beginning of the video, I think it is very likely going to turn into a big buying opportunity over here on big tech. And I am all for it. If you're not someone who's all for it, I don't really know what to tell you. I am only trying to help. That is that. That is that. On the upside, resistance 519.16, 521.76, 524.59, 526.72. Wherever this bottoms out at, let's just say it comes down here to 510. Golden pocket. We're going to be watching 530.61. That is going to be around there. All right. IWM. Daily RSI is now oversold. I think you probably are going to come down to 217.93. But, ideally, you just flush down to here. And I know it's going to look real ugly. But at the same time, if you hit that, you probably get a new wave of buyers. And the new wave of buyers bring you all the way back up here to 226.64. And then possibly 230. You're going to have something looking like this. Let's just say you get right down here to 214. Okay. Maybe you get some action like this. There you go. If you were a buyer over here in this golden pocket, and again, if you follow what we talk about here on this channel and you are not a short-term gambler, then maybe you have time on those contracts and maybe they come right back to your break even. Maybe next week, maybe the week after that. Regardless, I think you're going to get that move back up here on small caps. I think you're going to get, a market-wide move back up. But specifically over here on IWM, on small caps, I don't like the fact that you already took this out. I don't like it. And if you take this one out, it's also not a good look. Expect this bounce to be sold then. I will not like that. On top of that, the whole message that I got out of Jerome Powell, I'm not going to say, it sounded too bad. But, why is the market reacting like this? Because higher for longer. That's kind of what he was signaling. Inflation came down, not as quick as they were expecting. And, while I don't think it sounds all that bad, the market did think it is, it sounded all that bad. And that is why we're seeing this selling. It is what it is. Okay. So, expect this bounce that is probably going to come up shortly, either, between 215 to 217.63. Expect buyers there. We'll just mark it out here with the circle. There you go. So in this area here, expect buyers to step in. And then once they step in here, expect this to be sold. I don't know how high this thing goes, but let's say even it just comes over here, expect it to be sold. Small caps are not looking good. And, I know a lot of people were hyped about the small caps, me included. I don't think there's a reason to be hyped anymore. I think it is, you see that swing back up. You got January, February calls. I think it's an opportunity to get out of those at not such a bad price. My personal opinion. Buying the dip wise, I just showed you the NASDAQ McClellan oscillator. That thing over there, guys, that is going off of the big tech. That is suggesting big tech is probably going to be catching that bid that I spoke of. That is what I will be, primarily focusing on. We've already talked about NVIDIA in detail. That is my baby right now. That's the canary in the coal mine. I'm not going to say it's the canary in the coal mine, actually. It's just something I think is going to do very well. I think you're going to be at 140 to 145 by next week. Solid shot there. DIA, you're already oversold. You're at the 0.786 fib. I can't tell you if buyers are going to step in right here, but, they're going to step in. It's probably going to be right here, or you have risk of coming all the way down here to 416.55. Not saying you get down here. I'm saying that ideally you hold right here, 423.98. You do not go much lower than that, and then you get bought up. Maybe there's a lower wick that prints right here because that's the buyer's line in the sand. But daily RSI is oversold. This is where we have gotten our, bottom over here. Over here, you did go a little bit low over here. Okay. Over here, you did not. It just kind of marked your bottom. Over here, you did get this little dead cat bounce action, only 1%. So that'd be equivalent of us, going a little like this. Literally just doing that and then selling back off. That's kind of already what we got. But, as you say, you didn't see this guy moving up at all. Over here, marked your bottom. Over here, you built out your bottom. Okay. And that's why I'm saying, we could base around here for a little while, but it's not going to change the outcome that we're seeing. The outcome is this. You either go like this, or you go like this. Okay. Or maybe it's not even, maybe it's not a lower low over there. Maybe it's a higher low over there. And then you have a little double bottom, bullish double bottom looking action. Break above the neckline, and then that starts to move up. Regardless, I think big tech is going to rally. I do, and I'll stand behind that. On me all you want. There were more idiots that I had to, block for the channel today. Why? Because they're just toxic individuals. And if you wanna say, oh, you're an idiot, you're wrong. Because the day after, when I'm talking about swing trading here, the thing falls a little bit more. Yeah, I think you're stupid. And I don't want you even watching this channel. You shouldn't benefit from my information. Go short the hole. Do it. Do it. I dare you. All right, moving over here. I hope these people lose all their money, and then maybe they're going to be like, oh, damn, I probably shouldn't be thinking like that. And it's a lesson they should learn. It is how it is. I've learned those lessons myself. I ain't on that side, okay? I have there's no intention of being on the wrong side of a ripper rally here. And if you're long and now you're switching to bearish positions, I think you're making a big mistake there. I think you got wiped one way, you're about to get wiped the other way, and there's no reason to do that. That is why I suggest play with time if you're playing options. Options are a very dangerous game. They will go to zero. Okay? So it's best to be on the right side of the moves. We are in a bull market. We're in one that likes to get bought up pretty quick. And whenever this thing decides to turn, probably going to do exactly that again. You're going to get bought up pretty quick. And at that point, if you were, in dated options, dated calls on this dip, that is what is going to pay. Does not matter if you have to sit through a little bit of red. You buy enough time. Who cares about the week of red? It skyrockets that following week. Whenever it does, it picks up. Just like my boy in the video over here. Okay? Daily RSI already started hinging back up. I like the fact that you closed, over here. And now I do think you're probably going to be getting, bought up. Like I said, nothing really changed from yesterday, guys. I'll reaffirm you guys. Don't worry, or reassure you guys. I got you. All right. People are panicking. I don't see a reason to panic. Like I said, at the beginning of the video, I think this market is on easy mode. I saw a Twitter post about that. I like that saying. The market is definitely on easy mode right now. It's making it very obvious. And I think there's, the next wave of money, if you want to participate in it, it's very much so going to be a rally to the upside here. All right. And NVIDIA, this is, my prime contestant. This is the one that's showing the relative strength. You notice how everything's tanking down to new lows. What is NVIDIA doing? It's just consolidating. Even on yesterday's terrible day, you didn't take out the low. This is the relative strength. When it turns around, it's going to be good. When you break this trend line, you're going to come straight up here to 140. At that point, guys, any 117 calls, you're buying here, you buy the 140C, you buy the 135C. They're going to be up 70 to 80% if that happens next week. All right. That is something I'd like. You buy February calls, that is a clean 50 to 60% on your money in a safe manner on a great company. I think it's a great idea. No financial advice on this channel, but I think it's a phenomenal idea. And if the market does decide to come a little bit lower, guys, I'm just going to buy some more. I'm going to buy some more of this, and I'm going to point out some tickers right now that I'm really going to be enjoying. But before we do that, chips, guys, I am going to say this is a terrible look. I will definitely say this. I know I just pointed out how NVIDIA is looking all great and stuff. I think NVIDIA is going to go against the grain over here. But, chips as a whole, either this is going to be your false breakdown or, we just started, this thing's really going to start moving and grooving to the downside. All right. So, I'm just going to point out how it is. You had this trend line here. You had this trend line here. You have a pennant. You broke to the downside just now. And it was do or die today, and you did not do. You died. Okay? Come over to ARM, you're dying. Come over to Avgo, you're dying. Which I honestly don't think there's a reason to really touch Avgo after this massive rip right now. Let's wait for it to base out. As you see, after all of these advances, it likes to consolidate for a while before it makes that next advance. And it could take quite some time. MU, it absolutely fell off a cliff and it died. All right, you got increasing volume on the day. That's obvious. It's earnings. Okay, you didn't gap up like last time. You did the exact opposite, guys. You did the opposite. Daily RSI, I understand it's almost into oversold territory. But at the same time, you fell straight down to your support here. Heavy volume. You're probably going to break said support. Probably are. You could get a little dead cat bounce, but, I don't like the look of this thing. TSM, I'm going to point out. Inverse head and shoulders pattern. Nothing really changed over here. Okay, ideally, you want to hold this low right here. You don't want to take out 190.37. I'll add a little alert right there. You just don't want to do so. Ideally, you march your butt back up here next week. And that is that. AMD, talked about. I don't think it's worth touching the troll over here. Broke your support, 121.83. Next support is 116.37. And now what are we going to be watching, guys? I mean, let's look at it this way. You already got into the golden pocket here and you just start breaking down under it. I don't think there's any reason to touch AMD because of this. Okay, I really do not. Underneath 116.37, the next support is going to be down here at 111.31. That's really it. But, you know, do I think there's a really reason to trade this when I point out much better, you know, setups? No, I do not. INTC, we're still coming down to 1851. Nothing changed. And this is what I was saying. You know, nothing really changed since yesterday. Let's talk about it, okay? We'll talk about the big boys. These are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on here tomorrow if we get this dip. February calls. I think you're going to have a good time. Like I said, I think we see some, you know, easy 50 to 60% gainers by early next week if we're lucky. If we're not lucky, by end of next week. Again, like I was saying, you know, the people who come on the channel the day after just to call me an idiot because I made a call, all right, they're idiots. We're talking about swing trading. I'm sorry I don't, you know, just sit there gambling every single day. And I don't think the vast majority of the people watching this channel have any intention of sitting there gambling each day. A lot of people are working. A lot of people can't stare at the charts. A lot of people have lives. Okay. And I think I discuss and teach, you know, a rather useful method to handle these things. Because in reality, most people, if they sit there trying to day trade and they're trying to play weeklies, they're going to lose all their money. I don't talk about that stuff for this exact reason. And, you know, honestly, when I was doing that bogus, I was also just losing my money. You don't have a reason to do these things. Go make the smart decisions. This is your hard-earned money. We're not going to gamble our hard-earned money. Okay? Meta over here, guys, 585. That is the key level that I'm paying attention to right underneath there. You have the 0.618 fib starting at 583.20. That is a key spot right there. And I would be very surprised if you came down here and did not see buyers. You're either going to hold right here in the breakout zone, 602.95 down to 594.80, or you find buyers down there at 585. It's one or the other, in my opinion. Goog, what do you got going on, guys? A little peekaboo action into a new all-time high. Coming back into the scene of the crime. And if you come down here to 183.79, I know that would be a big drop tomorrow. I don't think it's going to happen. But, you know, if it does, that's your opportunity. That's your breakout level right there. That's where buyers are probably going to be stepping in. We'll take this golden pocket off. We're going to add a new one. You went for quite a ride. Quite a ride. You're either going to find buyers here. If things get real ugly, you're going to find buyers here. You're going to find buyers here. Do I think you get down to either of those? Honestly, probably not. Okay, but that's what you're watching over here on Google. Like I'm saying, guys, these are the things with strength. I know, you know, they're pulling back, but you got things like Microsoft over here that clearly does want to move up to new highs. You just broke out of all this consolidation. Now you're just retesting the consolidation. You're really going to be very bearish on this thing. You got no reason to, guys. You really don't. Okay, you really do not. Let's just be real with ourselves here. You don't. Microsoft's at 437 right now. If it manages to come back down to 429.04, it's a clear as day buy. There's no denying it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Go lower, dude. Clown on me. But in reality, it's a massive swing trade setup across the board. What are people, you know, complaining about? Not complaining like with me. What are people fearful about? I'm seeing on Twitter. I'm seeing just all the bears come out the works. I'm just saying, there's no reason to. The market's not going to fall off a cliff. VIX has already made this move. What VIX did tell us here, guys, is we got, you know, it is concerning. I'm not going to say it's not. But, you know, when we see these things, this is where your bottoms get put in. There's not really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You spike so fast, so quick here that, you know, now the market's at extreme fear when it was just at extreme greed days ago. VIX was at new lows over here days ago. And now the market has fallen off a cliff all in one day. You're now getting that continuation, the aftermath over there. Okay. But in reality, you come a little lower, you're at a very key spot. You come a little lower with daily RSIs in oversold territory as everyone has extreme fear on their minds. And you got the NASDAQ McClellan oscillator I just showed you. This thing is already starting to turn up, which means we're probably going to be starting a rally. Can it base out a bit? Yeah, the market can base out a bit. That's why I'd say do not gamble. Do not try and make it, swing for a home run right now. Just don't do it. You can make easy, safe money. And the way is not to go on next week's or even the following week's options expiration. It's not going to happen. That's how most people lose their money. We don't talk about those things. Okay? Apple over here, guys. Already showing the strength already. Relative strength in this market. The thing wants to march higher. This is week number 3 of this breakout. If it pulls back, it's a clear as day buying opportunity. Why is everyone getting so fearful and the market's somehow going to fall off a cliff now? It's not. Amazon over here, guys. Again, you just made a new high. So what is pulling back? It pulled back for 2 weeks over here, and then it started skyrocketing again. Guess who got bullish into this pullback into the previous high? This guy. Guess who is probably, getting all fearful and calling people stupid and stuff for, going long into this? The idiots that wanted to come back on my channel the next day. We're talking like 30 plus people at this point. There's like 6 new people today that I'm just hitting the block button on YouTube. I'm like, what is happening here? These guys don't deserve to be on my channel. And the sucky part is I know they can still watch the channel. But now you've lost your voice, buddy. You've lost your voice. All right. Tesla. Printing a pin bar candlestick. You already have signs of buyers stepping in here. It was leading the rally. It is probably going to go back to leading the rally. And we get a few weeks of consolidation like we did over here. This is 3 to 4 weeks of consolidation. Of course we can. Not the end of the world. All right. I think February calls are probably still going to do very good over here. This guy has a direct, link to the president here. Direct access. Could probably call him up anytime he wants. President gets inaugurated. All right. January. Well, this thing's probably, it's already doing exactly what we were talking about. It's running, December into January, new all-time highs. We now hit our target. All right. But in reality, it's probably going higher into January. There's a lot of hype around this thing. All right, guys. So that's what I had for you guys today. I don't think there's much new to talk about. I'm just going to kind of come on here and reassure people here that, hey, you're probably extremely likely making the right decision if you were a buyer on this massive dip. And anybody who tells you otherwise, they're probably about to prove to be wrong within the next week. And it is what it is. Guys, there's always going to be these people. But in reality, this is reminding me of, this thing over here when you were just falling off the face of the earth. And then you just got bought right back up. This thing over here. Okay? Swing low. Weekly time frame. Last one was right here. Structure is easily still intact. This is the golden pocket. It's completely normal to retrace. We're not always going to get it, and I wasn't even expecting it. All right? I was not expecting it. But I'll tell you right now, you can always profit in the market. I'm kind of, just flashing before your eyes how you can profit on the next move up. It is being a buyer down here. With that being said, I will catch y'all in the next one. Hope everybody has a lovely rest of their day. And peace.